Morning everybody, Reggie Time here, back on Sky, as you can see, after my flirtation with iPoker and Full Tilt in the last week, whilst I scramble around trying to find a new home after 888 imploded. We've landed back at Sky for now, because we were playing iPoker until they changed the way they write hand histories or something silly like that, and Holder Manager can't seem to fix it and import the hands properly, so iPoker's come for the Burton for the time being. We did have a little look at Full Tilt after their changes, but the games don't seem anything special there. So I think at the moment it's quite a barren landscape for myself. I kind of have the only options I have are Sky Poker and Unibet right now, and I think Sky Poker's just a little bit better for me than Unibet is. So that's where I've landed for the time being. I'm making this video at 20 now because it's 11:30 on a Monday morning and it's practically the only games running. I'm going to bet for value here with my two kings. It's thin, but I think it's fine, and we can take a raise too, because obviously we've probably got 12 outs to the nuts, I would imagine. We just picked up another 3 outs. I mean, if he pots it here, I'm in a tough spot, and I might just have to fold. But when he bets 280, I think we're just getting us to suck out on him. And what have we got? We've got 3 kings. Sorry, 2 kings. 11. We've got about 15 outs, I would imagine. And they haven't come, so now I'll just be... I mean, I think this guy's going to be bluff catching all day here. He has check raised me a few times already this session. He's going to be bluff catching with an ace pretty much all the time, so... Wow, he actually flopped the flush, would you believe it? And didn't bet the river, which is really quite interesting. I just presumed he's going to have like some sort of ace jack, ace king, ace something type hand there. So we will be noting there that this guy check raised his flush, bets a turn, and then for some reason checks the river, which doesn't make that much sense. Wow, what is going on here? I think we're just going to have to get it in here. If Ronto's got the monster, he's got the monster. There's nothing much I'm going to be able to do about this. I can't just call and min squeeze, particularly when it's Ronto is a regular, and then presumably it's going to be way more likely going to be a misclick than a deliberate act to min squeeze. But I can't just call a squeeze, misclick or not. I can't just call it because we're going to be letting like triumph into the pot, and then we're going to be playing pocket queens multi-way in a very small squeeze pot, and it's not a situation I want to put myself into. So anyway, the note on triumph. So we're going to have check raise, flopped, flush, check min raise, wasn't it actually? Check min raise, flop, flush. It was around half pot turn, wasn't it? Pot on turn, check river. And I'm going to mark him as a fish because we've already got the note on him that I know he's not a cash game regular, because I've searched him in the past. He's been playing $1 sit and goes, sorry, £1, £2 sit and goes, and £2 multi-table tournaments. He just is messing around in all sorts of different games, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. He's clearly just a recreational player who maybe just who plays quite a lot. But he couldn't be described as a good player, that's for sure. So yeah, he's going to get the green tag. Wow, flopped a set multi-way. Oh, I thought it was multi-way. Sorry, never mind. So he's going to start betting big and hope that Tato Head somehow has something he can call with, which it looks like he does. No reason to slow down with the big bets. I mean, if he's got a king, he's not folding. So let's have a quick look around the tables. This is what we should be doing when we are playing on sites like Sky and Unibet, where we don't have tracking software to aid us. We need to be just having a look around, seeing what we know about the players near us. Woody has already got the light blue tag, which in my note system means that he's a very loose pool player. Ransom doesn't look to be particularly good either. He's playing a lot of hands. He's not topping his stack up, so we've got a really good table on table 1. Chipsfield is a regular. Icroc seems to be a nit. I'm not really aware of the name before today, but it seems to be a nit. And Joseph hasn't really done very much, so I'm presuming he's going to be one of those players that just, it's hard to explain, but doesn't do very much. Just sits around playing like type passive. That type of player is basically waiting for the nuts, and then he's going to pounce. Table 2. I know Tato Head's a regular. I'm not sure why he isn't in red, because I know he is. The player that was there, whose name I'd forget, he wasn't a regular. Poker Kinga is a mass tabling regular. Chipsfield's a regular, and Gamer, who's just that, I've no idea. I wouldn't typically choose to sit a table like this with all the regulars, but it's, like I say, it's 25 to 11, 25 to 12 on a Monday dinner time. There's not going to be a lot of action, so 20NL without, I don't want to sound too big-headed, but if I can't beat 20NL regulars on Sky, I have no business making coaching videos and taking money off people for coaching, which leads me, a nice segue, I like that word, a nice segue into the purpose of making the video, which is always, I enjoy making videos. I like doing it. It helps me play better. I like having a YouTube channel. I like having people subscribing to me. It certainly fluffs my ego a little bit, I'm not going to lie. I am trying to get past 200 subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. But also I make them as advertisement for my coaching services. I am a microstakes poker coach. I've been one now for over a year. I've got around 20 people I'm currently working with. I've worked with around 60 people in total in that time, and yeah, it's gone really well. So if you are watching these videos hoping to improve your poker and thinking maybe how can I invest in my poker, let me just break off from this a moment. I'll decide whether to call or fold to this bet from Ransom. I'm going to fold. He's been really passive so far, and I don't really want, he's betting to 4 people. That might seem quite weak, but he's betting to 4 people there. And he checked the flop. He could easily just have been checking a queen on the flop or something, or a set. So I'm just going to fold and not feel too bad about it. But yeah, if you are watching this video and you are thinking about ways to improve your game, and you have never considered getting coaching before, just consider it. Just give it some thought. A lot of people who would come to me not sure whether coaching is going to be for them have come to me to give it one session, and if you read my testimonials, which are linked on my homepage of my YouTube channel, if you read the testimonials, you will see there that a lot of people have got quite a lot from working with me. So yeah, if you are want to give your game a shot in the arm, please do get in touch and we can talk about how we can perhaps help you go from being, who knows, maybe a losing player to a winning player, or a small winner to a bigger winner, or just generally understand improving your poker skills and then seeing where that takes you. But that's all the spam and the advertising out of the way. I promise there'll be no more in the video, and now we can just get on with talking and playing some poker. And as soon as I say that, we have a moment of complete silence, which isn't something that I like to have in my videos. But the problem is when we are just making 2 tabling videos at regular tables, quite often we can have situations where nothing too much is happening, so you end up stuck with me just filling time. just going to call here against Gamer. Don't know anything about him whatsoever, but I'm quite sure that ace-5 suited's a good hand to call with. Seems too weak to 3-bet for value. Seems too strong to fold. So clearly calling's the best option in that situation. I'm probably going to call the turn here, then fold the river if he triple barrels, because people triple barrel bluffing in the micros is it's about as rare as hen's teeth. I'm not even fond of calling this turn bet, to be honest, but I think we have to. Wow, and there we've probably hit a river that's either going to make us or break us. And now I'm just going to shove and try and rep some missed draws. No need to see bet this super dry board against Ransom. Every reason to see bet the turn against Ransom. And as you saw there against Gamer. He checked the river there. I thought he was usually going to have an airball or just a one pair type hand. So I went for the overbet shove just because it does a decent job of repping some bluffs. It does probably does a better job of repping bluffs than maybe a small bet does there. And if he's got an ace, because of the stack sizes that he had left, if he's got an ace, he's probably going to call regardless. So I might as well go for the big bet. If he hasn't got an ace, well, probably not going to call anyway. See bet this very dry board against Kinga. Look back bullshit always with cash tables. Fuck you. Charming. Once Kinga calls on this flop, on this dry board, I'm not going to try and bluff him. There's no reason to. I would have continued on like a 9 or something that gave me a straight draw or a flush draw. But when the 4 just comes, I'm just done with it. Pretty much done with it. And I may well pause this video in a moment if this table 2 doesn't get a new player on it, because even though I've no qualms about playing these two players, it is supposed to be a 6-max poker video. Kinga, what have you limped with, sir? What do you limp the blind with, Kinga? I don't know what you limp the blind with, Kinga, but we're going to raise anyway. It's an unusual thing for a regular to do. Yes, I think what we'll do here, we'll pause the video and we'll come back to it when I have another table. There's a better than this one, so I'll be back shortly. You probably won't, well, in fact, you won't notice anything. It'll just be another table pop up on the right in a moment, and then we'll be cracking on. Okay, so we're back. We have another table. It's pretty reggy still. This Ronto is at the table again. Fistful dollar, seen his name around, don't know anything about him. Kinga's here. 6960, who knows a multi-staking, multi-limiting, call it what you will, plays multiple limits, regular, and maximum, who I have no idea about. But she's clearly questioning, oh, let's say it's she, but maybe it's he. Either way, she's clearly questioning whether 6960 has been taking recreational drugs or not. Which, I mean, I like all this chat on the tables, I really do. I think getting involved with recreational players in conversation, I think it's a good thing. I think it's something we should try and do more of. Try and create an environment in which they're having a good time. And that's cynical, I know it's cynical. But it's business, and we know we're trying to keep bad players in our games, and if by indulging in conversation with them, having a chat with them, because these guys are probably just nice people too. You know, it doesn't hurt to be sociable. Yeah, we're in a battle for money. I understand that, but it doesn't hurt to be civil whilst you're doing it and be sociable. And I'll quite often chat away at the table. If I'm just two tabling or something like that, I'm more than happy to have a conversation and and just chat away. Usually it'll involve me siding with the weak players against the regulars just for fun. And if I'd ever see a regular berating a weak player, I usually get involved then. Not in a sort of don't berate the fish type way, because that's no better than what the regular's doing really. Just more in a like a trolling sense. I just troll a regular just for fun, and then the fish usually get the fish on side then too, and yeah, whatever. I don't know if it adds anything to my win rate or anything like that, but it doesn't hurt it. Let's put it that way. So it's not hurting it, and we're getting involved in the table chatter, which may or may not keep the table going longer. Well then, it's going to be a good thing. It can't possibly be a bad thing. Well, don't say another table's going to break. Looks like it might be. Oh, fistful dollar just posted in time. I'm going to make a slightly smaller raise because of regulars. Well, one regular and one who knows. This Woodsy keeps sitting in and out, in and out, in and out. Who knows? Who knows what's going on with Woodsy? So we've been squeezed here by a fistful dollar. I will be folding my hand. I think the only way I'd call here is if the other three players all called. But no, they haven't, so particularly easy fold. C-bet for thinnish value against Kinga here. I think he can definitely call with hands like pocket fives, some gut shots, some kind of straight draws. Maybe he even floats just two overcards. We can definitely get caught by worse there. Although it is thin. It's not so thin on the flop, but it ends up getting thin by the turn of the river if he sticks around. Probably, well, I was about to say I'm probably going to 3-bet poker Kinga if he opens. So the S5 earlier, it wasn't a 3-bet. I think this time it is a 3-bet for value. I think we can definitely get called by quite a lot of worse hands. And with the S5, kind of we had some kicker issues. But we also had a hand that could make straights, whereas with the ace-9, it could be kind of a stronger hand in terms of its ace-9 stronger than ace-5, but it's less playable post-flop a lot of the time. So I think it just works out better as a 3-bet than the ace-5 does. That's why we're 3-bet there. Kind of the ace-5 suited, we can make some wheels, we can flop some other draws. There's more ways we can stick around post-flop. With the ace-9 suited, yeah, we can still flop some draws, of course. I think it works better as a 3-bet, and also we can just get caught by some worse ace-X as well, which I think all of it adds up to just making a better 3-bet than the ace-5 was. Flop 2 pair. Let's go. We're going to be folding the pocket 3s to the 3-bet. Right, so unless 69-60 has 2 4s here, we're in good shape. I'm just going to try and get all the money in here against his combo draws, against his worst pairs. And if he's got a set of 4s, well, congratulations. And he was bluffing. Oh, it looks like he's bluffing anyway. So never mind. I mean, I guess we could have just called there, but there's tons and tons of turn cards, and when they come, I hate them. Is the thing that can happen quite often, and I want to talk about this because it does happen a lot. Is you want to slow play, you go to slow play when you get raised, because obviously you want to keep people's bluffs in. But it seems like a really good idea, you're loving it, and then the turn comes and it's a spade, or it's an ace, or it's a 10. It's some kind of card, all of a sudden you start, you start losing your bottle on. And I just think in spots like where we get check raised, we just, plenty of ways we can get value by getting it all in. Worst pairs, draws, who knows what else. So yeah, I just think it's better there. When we get check raised, just assume that someone's doing it with a hand they're prepared to go with rather than as a bluff, because more often than not, they are going to be having a hand that they like than a bluff. So on boards like that, I mean, if it was like King Jack Deuce with no suit, then I'd be much more inclined to just call, because there's going to be a lot less draws you can have, and a lot less draws you'll be willing to get it in with. And when we do get it in, we're going to be behind more often to sets and things. But on wet boards, I prefer to just put the 3-bet in and go with my hand. I could 3-bet Kinga here, but I think I'd rather just call against him, keep his range up a little bit wider. If it's a regular, I mean, he can call with worse, but I think I prefer to keep his range wide. And we don't have to just check fold flops. And we can easily still have the best hand here, so we can maybe check call twice, and then probably check fold the river and not be too exploitable. And I just think we're going to have the best hand here a lot of the time. There's no reason to bet very hard to get called by worse. But I may just call this river, just see what's going on. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had a hand like 2-8s or something here, but I kind of wouldn't mind knowing that, because it means I can then start check raising. If he does turn up with a hand like 8 here, with 2-8s, and he just had the 6. So now I know that he will go bet, check, bet with his thin value type hands. We can start doing a lot of fun things against him now. We can start check raising his river bets when he takes that line and stuff. And yeah, it's nice to know. I think we had a good hand to bluff catch with there. And on top of that, we now get to realise exactly, we get to mess around with him more. I am going to c-bet here. If I get raised, I'm not going to like it, but I'm probably just going to go with my hand. I'm going to c-bet for value against Woodsy. So note on Kinga. Wow, got a lot of notes there already. See if we can converge these now. So it's 4-bet ship Jack Queen off. Middle position versus squeeze with a fish in the pot. So that's spewy. Donk top pair heads up pot. Check call turnover card. 4 was in position 3-bet pot. So basically it's spewy. So I'm going to change all them notes to possibly spewy. How am I going to word this? Kind of want to word it where it's like, just don't respect his aggression as much as you would other people's aggression, because his range is going to be a lot weaker in a lot of spots. So possibly spewy. Aggro with weak hands ranges, and then the second note I'm going to put on is take, bet, check, bet line. I'm going to open the ace 10 with the 2 fish in the blind. Take, bet, check, bet line in position with weak made hands, dry boards, which now means that I can look to, as I said earlier, I can look to check raise against that line of his. So there we go, this is how I do my notes. Matt's mum, how have you been playing? you've not been getting too out of line. But we need to be 3-betting you with the 2 queens, that's for sure. If we get 4-bet, I'm probably just going to go all in. If we get called 4-bet, that will certainly change things somewhat. That is not a particularly pleasant flop for us. Okay, check. I'm going to call a turn lead and probably fold the river if maximum now goes bet. So we're going to call a flop and probably fold the river unless the bet's too small. And by too small here, I mean anything around £2.50. Anything approaching £3 or more, I'm probably going to fold to, certainly going to fold to £5.55. And just be a little bit disappointed with the fact that the ace popped. I think calling there would be very spewy. I mean, we have no reason to believe that maximum's getting out of line there. Very easily maximum could have an ace. And I didn't have one, so what can we do? Fistful dollar. No, I was considering perhaps just shoving there, but I think that would be too spewy. Fistful dollar does seem pretty aggro, but in a tight way. He's not getting out of line with his frequencies. I'm just going to see about my gut shot here. Poker King are there for some reason, just giving one of his reads away, which is interesting. A lot of aggression at this table, which is kind of what you get when there's mostly just regulars. I mean, if you look at table 2, where it's like Fistful Dollar's probably regular by the sound of things. I know 6960 is, I know Poker Kinger is. So that table's been like bet 3 bets, raises, check raises, all those kind of things. And at table 1, where we have 2 players who probably aren't very good. You see way less 3-betting, you see way less sort of like reg war type stuff. It's because, or I presume it's because, regulars know not to just go stupidly bloating pots, you know, against fish constantly. The best way to play these tables, in my opinion, is to just let everyone just see flops with the fish, see flops with them, and then look to break them. Just constantly getting in 3-bet, 4-bet wars and making the fish fall constantly. Something you see on a lot of sites where there aren't many fish around because people are desperately fighting for that fish's money. On sites like Sky, where fish are more plentiful, the regulars seem to get it. They seem to understand that you don't need to be just constantly fucking bashing heads against other regulars when there's fish at the table, because there's other ways to make the money. And constantly just blasting fish out of pots isn't the way to do it. I'm not going to see where that board is very wet. I think he's not likely to check raise me, but I'm kind of just going to give up. I've got 2 overcards, so I had some backdoor draws. I'm going to call here with the Queen 9 off. And yeah, I mean, I could see bet that board. Don't get me wrong. I mean, of course, I could see bet it, and I would see bet it against some players in some dynamics. But in the dynamic we just talked about at this table, where it's that everyone's just like desperately trying to outplay each other, and three betting, four betting, racing, check racing, all those kinds of things. I'm just going to just slow down just a little bit, and I'm going to actually try and show people some hands. If they want to play big pots, I'm going to show them hands rather than bluffs a lot. Here I have no reason to see bet versus king. Not going to get much to fold out. I'm not going to fold many better hands. It'd be a shame if we let him show down a hand like pocket fives or something here. But that said, I don't think he's folding pocket fives. He maybe folds it to a triple barrel or something. But who knows? We might just win here against who knows what. Against some kind of king high or queen high. And he rivered a king. So I mean, yeah, we could have bet there to make him fold his equity and things like that. It's a shame when you let them get there. But that said, until the river, our line was right, our line was correct. Probably wasn't going to call us. We're going to make him fold worse hands, which isn't what we want to be doing really. Of course, there's a concept of kind of collecting dead money. I understand that, but it's less dead money against regulars than it is against fish who have wider ranges. I'm going to go for a 5x isolation here against ransom. Who knows, Woodsy might come along. He likes playing cards. He does. And now I expect ransom to come along. And we've flopped pretty well. Probably won't be folding this if I get raised. Although I won't be in love with the situation either. What would rather happen here is just go check call, check call, check call. When I get check raised, it's a pretty rough spot. I'm going to have 4x open here because of the fish in the blinds. And we're not going to see bet versus Woodsy. Or we may call a turn bet from him. Certainly going to call a turn bet on that card. And now the question is just, do we raise or do we just call? I think we can, I don't know, because he might just 3-bet us with a 10, which would be a disaster, because we probably couldn't call. I'm just going to call, because I think Woodsy, and he certainly couldn't have called with that hand anyway, but he might be the type to overplay 10x there and just shove it in my face if I raise him, and I really wouldn't like that to happen. So against Woodsy we, excuse me, as you heard that little belch there, not something I like to do on video, many apologies. So what are we going to note there? He just bluffed, not bluffed, bluffed, turn, river, P, Jack 8 suited, then we'll let it go. I card, board, versus missed, c-bet, which will encourage me now to check back some strong hands against Woodsy too, if he's going to, we don't know if he always is, but it's certainly something I'll be keeping my eye on now. I will certainly try to check back against him again, just to see if he has like this auto bluff tendency once he sees missed c-bets. We don't know if he does it or not. Try to see what's going on with the chat there on this on the right hand side table. Didn't catch it, but yeah, it's an interesting table, alright. It's not interesting in terms of there's no real fish there that we can exploit, but it's interesting in terms of regulars just getting into it with each other, and who knows, hopefully we can capitalise on that at some point. Because if we just stay below the radar, keep out of the way, then, I mean, if you see things starting to kick off and get crazy, who knows what can happen for you. Lots of good things can happen. going to isolate Woodsy here. I'm not particularly fond of isolating low suited cards against fish, but when we are position, I think it's fine. So the problem with this having these cards is a lot of the profit from them comes from running some successful bluffs post flop. Problem with players like Woodsy is it's hard to run successful bluffs against them. So I'm not sure. Maybe even overlimping there might have been a better option. I'm not going to. We picked up some pot equity, but we've got no fold equity against Woodsy, so we're just going to try and bink the river, and we did. So we're going to hope Woodsy has two pairs, and we're going to bet £4. Yeah, I think maybe in hindsight, overlimping there would have been fine. And this is a situation we're hoping might happen against Matt's mummies. All these regularly getting into it against each other. And if they, we've all been there. You see red, you get the cloud, you start raging a little bit, and then next thing, some guy who's not been involved three bets you, and you lose your mind. Kind of hoping that's what might happen here. I'll be c-betting and just jamming over a raise here against Matt's mum, and if Matt's mum's got a set or two pair, well then, hats off. We'll actually go for a check shove here on Matt's mum, because I think it's suitably aggressive to just stab with a jack and then call it off. Didn't bite, which is unfortunate. So now I'm just going to bet. And again, I'm not folding here. And if I've let Matt's mum get there somehow, well, so be it. So that was very interesting in a lot of ways. Not 4-betting the kings. Surprising. Not betting the turn when check 2. Surprising. Yeah, that was a strange hand. I'll try and note that in a moment when I've collected my thoughts. That was interesting. I wonder why. Because I've done nothing at this table or you wouldn't think I've done anything at this table which would suggest that you would want to trap me with two kings there. They should be more inclined to think that I've just got a hand that I'm reasonably happy with. I don't know how much of 3-bet at this table, but it's not a lot. I've been pretty nitty. Not overly nitty, but, certainly haven't been getting out of line. So yeah, I think that was just fancy play from Matt's mum, where there's no real cause to play fancy. I mean, as far as they should see, they've just been 3-bet by a nit, and they should be like 4-betting the kings and fist pumping. So we managed to get iCroc in a pot, which we don't really want to do when we're isolating woods. I think iCroc's range here is going to be like pocket pairs and decent broadways. He just donks that ball with woods in the pot. It means he's just going to have a value hand all the time here. Good thing for us is we don't have to pay him off because we just have ace high. But that's just never going to be able to. If iCroc's paid any attention, which I have to assume he is, if iCroc's paid any attention, he knows Woods is a bad player. And yeah, he's just going to be value betting all the time there. And he should be too. I mean, if I was iCroc there and I'd flopped a decent top pair or a set or something, I would definitely lead out into Woodsy. Because he knows I'm not going to c-bet bluff very often, so my c-bet there in that situation, multi-way is going to be significantly lower than normal. And Matt's mum is steaming. Sorry, Matt's mum. But, we all feel that way about poker sometimes. We all feel like the injustice of it. I think Jared Tendler talks about in his book about injustice till... yeah, happens to us all, Matt's mum. Happens to us all. You just got to learn to live with it, I'm afraid. And if you can't live with it and you're going to steam, you're probably going to produce your B game and your C game too often and not be a winning poker player. You have to learn to just cope with the bullshit that poker throws at you, because by heck it throws a lot. If you can't cope with it, maybe it's time to think, is poker for me? Is poker really the game I want to be playing? But having said that, we've now been running for around 40 minutes and it's getting close to my lunchtime, so yeah, I think we'll call it a video. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed being back on Sky. Looking forward to putting some good sessions in the next few days, and then who knows what's happening with the other sites. Who knows? I feel like I've been like the littlest hobo recently, just wandering from site to site, struggling to find a new home. I'm desperate to find a new home now. The problem is I don't really know what's best for me. So yeah, who knows where the next video is going to be from? Might be on Sky, might be on 888, could be, who knows where it might be. Who knows? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed making it. We're going to play this 5-4 suited hand, and then we're going to call it a session. So these guys have now checked twice. I've picked up a good shot. We're just going to bet. Try and pick the pot up. I think Ike, if you had a strong hand, would have bet a turn after the flop checks through. Woodsy, who knows? Who knows what's going on in Woodsy's world? But he's folded, so it's all good. And yeah, I think we're going to just about call that a day. So yep, hope you've enjoyed the video. I've certainly enjoyed making it. Until the next time, look after yourselves, and bye for now.